So I've got coffee.
And I get to rub it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys do have beers.
You guys enjoy it. Actually, this is a sobriety intervention that we're
that we're having for Olivia.
Wait a damn minute.
People come into this environment and they're like, wow, there's just something different about this place.
I think what people can't get behind is they sit there and I've talked to multiple people and they're like, well, you know, we see this on the podcast and talking about this and that and the other, and they're like, well, you know, we didn't get that. Well, yeah, it's different now.
If you want to learn and you have questions, I will absolutely help you. You can knock on my door. Unless I'm on the phone, I will help you. But at the same time, like, I want to be a part of the strongest sales team that we can possibly have. And if you're not going to contribute to that, like, walk out the door.
As people that have been here for a long time, what's that like to be in a situation where the way you've done it is no longer the way it's done?
I know for me, some of the things.
So what's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
Welcome to the Barndo Co. And, Darik and I did a beer and Barndo episode earlier this year, and he was like, we need another one of those. And I was so excited about it. I was like, this is going to be great. And then I realized that we actually scheduled it on day 75 of my 75 hard. So I've got coffee.
And I get to rub it in.
Yeah. You guys do have beers.
You guys enjoy it. Actually, this is a sobriety intervention that we're just playing with you
that
guys.
We're having for Olivia.
No, I'm pumped to have you guys here, man. Y'all, we were talking about before we even started on this, like, that you guys have been here for a pretty long time. I mean, both of you over 2 years each.
Yep.
And you know, some of the foundational players in this thing, and like, y'all have lived through every up and down, every change, and like from what we used to do and how we do it today. And you just been here and you've been in the trenches, and like, it's fun because obviously we've done a lot of things right because you're still here. But like, you've been in the moments where we're like, this isn't working. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of hang out and just chat about life inside the company and like where you've been and all those kind of things. So like, what, like, for you guys, what has been like the big thing for 2024? Like, looking back at 24, what's like a big milestone win for you?
Well, yours was what? About a month ago, right?
Okay, Darik. He chose for me. So
No.
Personally, I did get married in October, so I think that one was a big one for us. Just because, you know, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, if I didn't work at Barndo, some of the things that I accomplished probably wouldn't have happened. Like buying our house and being able to live together when we were doing long distance before. Paying for a wedding, you know, we paid for it all by ourselves, which is a huge thing for us. So without Barndo, we probably wouldn't have been able to do some of those things. And then just professionally, I think consistency has been my big thing this year, is just consistently hitting my targets, hitting my numbers, producing really well, and also giving clients the best service that I can give from my end. So I would say personally and professionally, that would be my two.
That's good. That's gonna be hard to follow up, Darik.
Yeah, I can't follow up with stuff like that. I don't have the gift of gab. No, for me, professionally, some of the best that happened this year basically was to finally get a stature of, here's how we build houses. And we got that process laid out. And they sat there and said, hey, we got this process down. I said, cool. And then I built them a house as fast as I could. And we haven't had any warranty items on that house. We haven't done any of that stuff. And I've been super proud of that, especially considering I'm the warranty manager. And I didn't have to hide that there was no warranties on it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. Like, since the last time you were here, I mean, we were basically hanging out, having some cold beers, and talking about warranty. And you know, we were talking about the fact that you were building this house, and then it was like on this track to be like a record, you know, build for us, and then it became that. Like, now, what's changed in your role in the last few months?
So in the last few months, they've realized that even with warranty, and they would give me one or two, I'd be able to sit there and I'd still just kind of knock them out. And I'm on pace. I was originally on pace for 3 total this year, and now I'll be on pace for 5, possibly 6. That 6th one's going to be real iffy to get in before the end of the year, though. They hired somebody to take over warranty for me that actually has a lot more experience dealing with warranty and customers as far as warranty goes than I do. Because even when he was stepping in, he was like telling me about certain aspects of actual warranty business, and I was sitting there and I'm like, nope, had no idea. Right. And as much as I've read it, just for some reason, some of these things didn't click in my head. He's got it. I told him how I was doing certain things and dealing with certain people, and he's running with it. It's great to have him there. We actually got to go down to a couple of 1 years in the Low Country tomorrow, and so it'll be a month from now.
Yeah.
it'll be 30 days ago. We were going down to Low Country to get a couple of houses, and those will be, with the way he works, those will be closed out by the end of the year as well. So that's really nice. With that, they're moving me into the project management position, and I have taken over 8 jobs plus the 2 I had before.
Yeah, which is fun. Like, you've kind of did everything in this company from beginning. Like you've literally done everything from a production standpoint, and like you have the ability to take projects from dirt to door keys and do it well. And I think it's a good move. I think it's a good place for you to be. And like, you love the client engagement.
It'll be nice to have just one thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. But you love the client engagement. So like for you, that's a huge win. And like, I remember they came over and told us like, yeah, we're doing this, we're moving this. And I was like, what? And then they were like, yeah, and Darik's going to go back into project management. I'm like, what? That's a big win. So I wanted to talk about that, man. Cause like the cool thing about Barndo is in 6 months, we could see 10 years of change. Because of the rate at which things grow and the all the new things that are happening, and the company's always changing with locations and systems and like documenting the way we do it. But now we finally, at year 3, have some historical data to go back and look at things and say like, this is the way it's done. And we're in a position now where we can hire a head of growth and bring people in and train them on the system that we have, while in the first couple of years, you're figuring that system out. You're figuring it out, and like you would solve it, but then, now you got 42 new counties in a different state, and you got different people, and, sales is like, you got people that have been here from the beginning that did it a certain way. And then you got people coming in learning a different way. And then like all these things. So like getting really clear on the entire process and getting everybody kind of adopting the same standard of like the entire engagement. And it's a lot of moving pieces. So like people who have been here are at a slight disadvantage to someone walking in the door new, because you remember the old. But you kind of have an advantage too, because you've seen how we've done it, and like you experienced the things that didn't work. And so you don't even question. You're like 100% this is the right thing to do. Like I don't, because you got to live through it. But it's really fun, man. Like
sometimes it takes those fresh eyes to see it a different way,
for sure,
to realize it needs to be,
for sure.
It doesn't need to be completely changed, but maybe let's alter it.
Well, I was joking with someone the other day, and I was like, man, the level of problems that we're solving, from like startup problems to multi-state to going like literally, it feels like yesterday we had a goal to build 10 houses, and now like in the last 30, there's weeks that there's 10 houses completed, and so we're like, it's insane the amount of growth when you look back at it and you really realize like where we are, how far it's grown, and how far we've came as an organization, and like set this thing out. And the brand has really been bolstered by people like you. Like I love having you guys on the show, because people get to see the people that make this thing happen, and then like the two of you been here for forever, and like you've both been on the show before. But like I love to showcase like the human element of what makes Barndo Barndo. And like you're talking about, like, hey, if I didn't have this, some of these things might not be true in my personal life. And for me, that's the biggest win in the world. Like I share stories about both of you all the time. And like different things, like when I'm talking about like personal development and like, seeing people be able to do things they never even thought was possible. And not only do them, but do them well to where like you're the envy of the atmosphere, right? Like there are people that see you now like as someone who's massively successful in the category, and they're like, you know, I who was somebody told me a story about interviewing someone, and they were like, "Yeah, I was watching Olivia's podcast, and like, I just feel like I really align the same way. Like I like the way she was talking like that, and like that's so cool for me because you guys are what makes Barndo, and being able to share that story and push that out a little bit, like it's super fun. Um, so, what are you most excited about? Like, it's stuff that's on the horizon here and things that are moving around, and like what inside the company now is like exciting for you?
I think from our side, we're getting some new offices soon. So that's exciting just to know that there's going to be more locations to go see, more grand openings to go to. I always love those events. And then just from, I guess, my role perspective, I've been in sales the entire time, and obviously my position's shifted in just in terms of responsibilities and things that I handle. And I think for this next coming year, obviously we're wrapping up fourth quarter, but for this next coming year, I think I want to focus on growing my own team. I have an assistant now who is super helpful for me on our back end stuff, just managing calendar and things like that. But I would love to bring in someone that's kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing. We're kind of working in tandem. And just helping more clients. I do a lot, I work a lot, but I'm still only one person with only so many hours in the day. So just being able to bring even more efficiency to the team, more clients in the door, hopefully, and things like that.
Right.
I'm excited to see basically new people coming in that really bring value to us, and not monetarily, and just actual personal value to Barndo. We've seen people come in, seen people go. We've seen them all shapes and forms of either they were cancerous or it just wasn't fit for them, and I get excited every time somebody new comes in and be like, okay, how can I help them succeed in here, or how can these people in this area help them succeed? How can I help them? Because for me, it has been since the beginning. My wife told me, she's like, it's a new company. And I was like, cool. I get in and out the ground floor. So in essence, I'm sure you feel this way as well. It may be your physical company, your name's on it, but I know how much I've helped to get it where it's at. So anytime somebody's new coming in, I get excited.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's cool.
It's just like okay, so he's excited. That's a word that he would use to describe it. I think I come from a more cautious standpoint of, as much as I love having new people join the team, I'm also cautious of, are you going to uphold core values? Are you going to contribute and like really be a part of this family? Because at the same time, we're all spread across different areas, different states, different offices. But I like knowing that if I reach out to Amanda in the Tennessee office, Amanda's going to do everything she can to help me if I have a question for that market. And that's the biggest thing, is like knowing that if I have a question for Darik will get me an answer. If I have a production question, I can walk next door or reach out to them and they will get me an answer. So just being able to lean on your teammates is a big part of it as well. Like, it's not just a company where we're all about, revenue and how quickly we can do this and how many we can do. It's also about, are the right people in the company to get us there? And can we trust that you're going to do your absolute best for our clients?
Work hard, play hard.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I was sitting here thinking, like, one of the things I wanted to talk about was like with growth and the perception of people, like, as we grow, it's good. It's a good thing. But the motivation behind growing. So there was a point in time where I got asked the question, why? Because
Yeah.
I can't think of the word. I'm not as good of a wordsmith as my buddy, the way he put it, but like
What are you talking about? All you do
I'm
is talk.
super content but unsatisfied.
Yeah.
So I have a big vision, and I will run faster than the machine can uphold. And so like I don't accept comfort. I don't accept a lack of or fear. Like people like there's a tendency to pull back. And the thing for me was like I knew that I wanted to be bigger. I knew that we wanted to be in more markets. I knew that there needed to be growth, and I knew that there were more people that wanted access to the products and the services that we have, and I wanted to go there, but the question was why? And I had to get really clear on that and take some time and think about it. And the overarching part of that was I want more people to have an opportunity to turn their dream into reality. And I wanted to do more of what made us so special when we started. And we started as a small company, and people would come in, they're like, this is like this small company feel, like it just feels different. This is amazing. And the thing is, like, we've got massively bigger. We are hands down the largest turnkey barndominium builder in the country, right? There's no question in my mind about it. We went into a niche market. We figured out how to make it more mainstream and more accessible, and we did a lot of the hard work. And other people get to benefit from it. Like there are literally builders all over the country that send people to our website to apply for financing. Like our Brad will call me and be like, bro, I just closed a deal for somebody in Oregon. I just closed a deal in Ohio. I just closed a deal in Texas. And like, I mean, I've had people that be like, why would you give them that tool? I'm like, cause I don't care. Like I want them to win. I want people to get their dream at all costs.
It'll become a household name.
Yeah, man. Like I want to pave the way for people to do this because I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about people. The more people I can help, the better it becomes for me. But the cool thing is we're massive and we're getting bigger by the day. Like we're literally building offices 2 and 3 at a time now. Like the expansion into 2025 is going to be big. 2026 will be even bigger. Like there's no shortage of opportunity. But the cool thing for me is every single office is that small town feel. And the perception to people on the outside sometimes is like, yeah, man, they just got too big. They just, they're too big. They're thinking about the money. And the reality is that's not true at all. If you walk into one of our offices, it is the same thing that we created in the upstate of South Carolina, replicated in small rural towns all over the Southeast. And we all serve the same mission. We all serve the same vision. And we're all part of the same big family. But each independent location has its own little chemistry and its own little small town feel to where they know. I don't know the names of our clients. I see barns finished and posted that I never even knew that we were building. And so like, yeah, if you were looking at it like, is TJ connected? No, I'm not. I don't have a personal connection to every client that walks in the door. It'd be impossible. Be
No,
impossible.
And that's
Right.
great. And you literally gotten to the point where you and Ross have been able to finally work yourself out of that engagement. And
Yeah.
it's our job now to keep
Yeah, and well,
keep
you
you
do a
out of
better
it
job than we do.
so
Like,
you can do the
but
so
you're doing it better than we did. And the cool thing is that
sorry.
we are still that small company. And so the question to you guys would be like, in the growth, how have we what are things that you feel like we've done or things that we are doing or things that you individually do to make sure we don't lose je ne sais quoi, right? You heard me talk about that at the quarterly. Like that is what it is. People come into this environment and they're like, wow, there's just something different about this place. People come to work here and they feel like they're buying into a family. We don't have a lot of turnover. That being said, we do a lot of work vetting the people that we bring into the company. But at the same time, we don't have to tell them that they're not a fit. They feel it if they're not a fit, and they get asked to leave. I mean, you can't work here unless you subscribe to what it is. It's bigger than barndominiums. What we do is bigger than barndominiums, and the local impact, the community initiatives, the things that we do for the communities we serve, and the way that we build a community with clients, and the way that we build a community within our company. As we've grown, what do you think we've done to maintain that small feel, that company culture? And what do you do personally? Like, what are some things that as we grow, like somebody's watching this thing and like, you guys came and worked here when it was like 6 of us, right? Now there's 50, 60 of us. And now there's more offices now than there were people when you started. So how have we done that?
I want to say part of it has just been our quarterlies and our annuals. You think about your quarterlies as like your season games, and then your annuals like your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way where we all get together. We can all kind of do pulse checks with each other, like how are things going in your office? Because I don't talk to people, from the Somerville office every day. But I do have a call with Amy probably once every couple weeks at the very least. And we just kind of check in with each other, like, how are things going? What are you struggling with? So I think part of it is just the interconnectedness of, you know, I had a bunch of you guys come to my wedding. Like, I invited people from the company to my wedding because I feel that closeness with a lot of the people here. I've spent late nights at quarterlies with people just sitting up, having a drink, and chatting. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of us are probably friends outside of this office. We hang out outside of this office. And I think that's part of it. And then, just within like my own little office and realm, I, don't mind answering questions. I want people to come to me with questions. For my clients, I do a lot of the same stuff for my clients that I did in the early days still now, even with the numbers being increased. Like closing gifts are a big thing for me. So I love getting gift baskets made. I drop them off personally if I can, or I'll ship them. But just writing a thank you note, even and saying, like, thank you for choosing us. Thank you for working with me. It's an honor to have been a part of this journey. And I hope you look back on it positively. So, those are just some of the things that I do within my own office. And I know some of the other agents do as well.
That's cool. How about you?
Ditto. No, no, for me, I do thoroughly enjoy the quarterlies and annuals. I've never been in any part of any organization that does stuff like that. But I know that I still reach out to Dunn, Low Country, Tennessee, and I'll just sit there and be like, hey, how's it going? Need anything? What can I do? What is going on? Do you need help with anything? Even if it's not something that I can do, and I know it's reciprocated on the other end, and it's not about reciprocation, but at the same time, it's reciprocated on the other end. Hey, what do you got going on that I can help with down here? We know I know how busy I am, and I know in those areas, they may have just as many builds with half as many people. So I know they're busier, and they're still wanting to reach out and make sure everything on my end is taken care of.
Right.
But as far as with the customers and stuff, for me personally, when I get into that house, I look for a way to help personalize it, to give them that little personalization. It's not just another home I'm building and then I'm walking out the door. Be like, all right, I'm in. Let's build this thing. Cool. We did it quick. Bye. No, that when I go in on a project, I'll go full in. How can I make this that little special for them? Because we're not building houses for you to remodel. We're building houses for you to sit in and then decorate.
That's right.
That's where we're at now.
Let me switch this up on you. So being here as one of the OGs, right? We were joking about that before. Like we should do an episode with all the OGs, and there's really not that many.
No.
But being one of them, and being in a culture where we're changing constantly, and being in a situation where even the way in which things are done changes, right? There is a hesitation sometimes to accept or embrace a new change because it might be a strategy that helps the overall concept, the overall company. But for me, it's like, it doesn't really affect me. I'm really comfortable with the old way. Like, how does that feel as an employee inside of a place where things are changing all the time? Like, and always for the better, right? Sometimes we still have to tweak it, right? But you understand why we're doing it. But like, as people that have been here for a long time, like, what is that like? What's that like to be in a situation where the way you've done it is no longer the way it's done? And then, like, what do you do to overcome that and, like, stay motivated?
I know for me, some of the things that have come up have definitely, that you sit there and you're like, okay, I don't know if that's going to work. And is this going to continue to work? And because at the very beginning, there were so many changes at the very beginning, and you had to get on with it, and you had to keep up with it. And if you couldn't keep up with it, more than likely you were losing it, and you either wanted to leave, or we still didn't have a lot of high turnover, but we did have some people that were just like, no, this isn't for me, because they feel they didn't they didn't put in their mind that it's a new company. And yes, at the beginning, you got to figure things out. You can take a template from somewhere else, but it still may not work for you, and you have to
Right.
alter it. And when we really got into it, I sat there and I was like, okay, I really hope this is going to go, because for me, I've always wanted to build a Barndo, and we almost did it. We almost did it. But we're almost there too. So I wanted to be here. So one, I could learn it. And I could learn that whole process instead of going through school and getting what school tells you how to build, because it's different when you learn something here and go out to the job and do it, something engineers need to figure out,
Right.
here it is on paper. It should work this way. No, it does not.
That's funny. How about you?
So, obviously, when I first started, I had not been in a role like this before. And I started out with you being my teacher,
Yeah.
which was a challenge in its own because, as amazing and as motivational and insightful as you can be, you are not a teacher.
Nope.
And so you learn on the fly, you learn in 5-minute conversations. And at the end of the day, in those days, you ran with it and you asked for forgiveness, not permission.
Yep.
And so
This is the way.
this is the way.
This is the way.
And in a lot of ways, that is no more,
Yeah.
thankfully. Now we have SOPs and we have things in place as like standard procedure. And you're always going to have a unique situation at the end of the day. But the point is if you can't adapt, you're doing a disservice to your clients. And so, you may have 10 clients on your board. Some of them started an old process, some are in a new process. But at the end of the day, these are still their homes. It's still their home building experience. And you may be dying on the back end, but your clients don't need to know that. You need to be adapting, making the best changes for them. And sometimes that's the new process and not the old way you were doing it. And then, just from my standpoint, I have seen probably a million changes at this point. And some of them have been great. We trial tested some of them, and some of them didn't work out the best. But at the end of the day, if they're not working, then we'll adapt it and we'll make it something that does work. So it's been great to have a team that is focused on best client experience, what's efficient for the team, what's good for all of the sales consultants. And so some of those things are in place, and they may not be necessarily how I would do them, but I can see the greater good for the team as a whole. But yes, adapting is necessary if you're going to be with this company. Less so now, more in the earlier days when it was kind of run and gun. Less so now, where it's a more calculated step. It's been thought through, it's been trial tested. We're not just like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. So that's definitely been a bigger change, is just more forethought into what we're doing now and how those processes are changing.
I love it. And I love that because you got to practice what you preach.
Mhm.
And I do. And so, like I tell people all the time, the success is in the people. Like in the beginning, I mean, I can visualize and I can make things happen and like rattle, shake, and roll. But like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not. Everything lives inside of my brain,
Mhm.
and I never forget anything, and it's always just there. And it's like, unless it's something important or significant in my personal life, and then I'm like, oh yeah. But random information just lives in my brain, and I know this about myself. I know that like my expectation is that like this is how people operate, and I'll just like give you the guideline, and then you just going to do the same thing, and that's not how the world works. And so like the necessary steps of change is if I were working for myself, I couldn't find someone that would outmarket me or sell me. Like I could just move and gun and move and gun. And that's the difference in like work like just having a job that you pay yourself versus having a company. And so some of the things that we did in the beginning was like, I need to be out of every role in the world because I need to be locked inside of a bubble where I can just dream and vision and concept and then like start putting the pieces in play to like make that a reality and like, pioneering. That's what I'm good at. I'm really good at there is no trail, there is no road, there's just a mission and I will blaze one. And like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm cutting the trees down. I'm making a way, like, follow the trail. They're like, there's not a trail. I see where you cut a tree here, and like, but like, there's a potential I could get lost because like you blazed a trail, but it is not a highway. And a highway is different than a trail because it's been graded. Things have been removed. Obstacles have been removed. A new surface has been put down that promotes more, stability in traffic. Lines have been painted. Guardrails are in place. Like we have made it where everyone can commute down this way and make it as safely as possible, as fast as possible, and effective as possible, and limited the ability to get lost. And so like what I realize is like if I blaze a trail and then I turn around and get on the tractor and start trying to clear it, I get bored. I get bored. And I'm like, well, look, at least it's gravel now. And you're like, yeah, but like, I need a road. And I'm like, so then I'm back out there and I'm trying to lay the asphalt and I'm even more bored. And so I'm like, all right, there's got to be somebody that likes driving tractors and laying asphalt, and then somebody to come along and paint the lines, and then somebody to install the guardrails, and somebody to run a study on where we need to put guardrails. Like that is what building a business is. And so like I identified that myself very quickly, very, very quickly. But the thing was this is like I am a person who I don't stop and think and overthink and overanalyze. I'm just get it done. And in those early days, if we didn't have a job, if we didn't have a client, if we didn't have a deal, if we didn't have a thing, there was nothing there to do. And so it was go get it and go get it and like ask for forgiveness. Fine. I don't care. And I mean, we've built like in the beginning, we built houses where we had great success. Obviously, like you can't build them all for free, but we had several where it was not a financially rewarding situation. The homeowner got a home. The homeowner got what they wanted. We didn't win. No. They did, but it helped us learn. And so we just continuously adapted. But if we had just frozen those situations and just said like, well, no, we got to get it right. Let's have a meeting and then we'll have a tribunal council and then we'll ask some people and we'll calculate it better and we'll do all these things. We would have wasted so much time that we would have never made it to the next level. So like the cool thing is we did what we had to do to establish the trail. And then we went back and we started building the necessary things along the way, and it improved everyone. You were capable of walking down the trail. It wasn't comfortable. It was a pain in the ass. You're like, this dude told me this is a trail. Like, there's poison ivy. There's, snakes.
There's a bush in the way.
There's, like you're having to jump, like, because if I'm running as fast as I can, I might hop over a log. And then when you come along, you're like, let me climb over this freaking log because it wasn't calculated.
And now I know what helped me.
Yeah.
I lived in Alaska 10 years for coming working for you. That's so you have to go out and just find a trail anyways.
That's right. Well, talking about that, let's
but I wanted to say like the houses that we did at the beginning, our first 10 to 20 houses, their experience is 100% different than what everybody experiences now. And 6 months from now, the ones that getting their experience now will be different from the ones 6 months from now.
100%. It's no different than buying a early concept and then seeing all the improvements, right?
I think what people can't get behind is they sit there and I've talked to multiple people and they're like, well, we see this on the podcast and talking about this and that and the other, and we're like, well, we didn't get that. Well, yeah, it's different now. We've improved our processes much.
The counterclaim to that is there's 400 people receiving what we're talking about, and there's 25 people that didn't get it because it wasn't in existence then. And the question I always ask is, I understand.
Yep.
But if it would have been available, would it have improved your experience? Yep. Okay. Well, now you know why it's there. You helped us create it. And so the whole thing is just based off of like I want to be the best. I want to have the best experience. I want to do that. And we have people who are absolutely raving fans of our business.
Yeah.
And it's the overwhelming majority. I actually had to sit down with some guys and we went through this like business assessment of like where we stand. And we're trying to get this like, velocity score of like where the business sits as a whole. And it's just like I lend myself to this all the time. Like I'm always getting coached. I'm always seeking advice. I'm always reaching out to people. And Ross and I talked about it, there's a hand up and a hand down all the time. I reach down and help pull people up into something they never thought possible. Simultaneously, I'm reaching up for someone to pull me to the next level. And like I live in that all the time. And while we're doing it, we're going through it. And there was a question about customer satisfaction. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, like, well, I mean, there's this one person that was like, they were upset about this, and there was this other guy, and like, and in my mind, it's like 5 or 6 people that I could think of that like had a not a bad experience, but a less than stellar one, to
Mm.
where I'm thinking about it, and the person sitting across the table said, "Why are you thinking right now?" So what do you mean? He's like, "You literally have 500 people, and I can only think of like 2 or 3 off the top of my head that had a less than stellar experience." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "The question is it 70% or more people were satisfied?" And I was having to overthink it because I care. It wasn't that I thought that we did a bad job. It wasn't any of that stuff, but I literally care so much about every single person that whether their experience was because of themselves or because of something that we did, the whole thing for me is I think about the expectations that are set all the time because 99.9% of conflict is just they didn't understand.
Yep.
And so I literally live in that all the time. I talk about it all the time. Like I take everything as feedback. It could be positive, it could be negative, it could be indifferent. It's all feedback, and I listen to all of it. I read every review. I'm not going to pick up the phone and call you. That's not my job anymore. But I read every review. I read everything that people say about us. I see the people that recommend us on social media all the time. I finally had to disengage myself from that piece because my phone never stops vibrating. But I see it. I see all the positive, and I learn from that as well. But
Hey, we did that.
yeah, what's that?
We allowed you to be able to just sit there and scroll and make sure that, hey, is my company doing what it's supposed to do?
Yeah.
Am I looking further to that next part of how to make my company that much better?
Our company.
Our company. Sorry, I apologize.
No, you're good.
No, it's mine.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, I like people to see the real stuff, right? Like, I am not there's no smoke and mirrors here. I don't talk about anything that's not real. I bring everyone on here and we have real conversations about real life stuff, right? Like, imagine an environment where you could sit there with the owner of the company and be like, "You're not a great teacher," and it like, I love it because I'm like, I know, like there's just things that like. There is no secret inside of Barndo. So many people reach out to me and I just give them the information. And the thing about it is Ross used to literally have a heart attack because he would hear me on the phone with someone. I'm like, well, first do this, and here's the software we use, and here's how we do this, and this is who we use for this, and this and this. He's like, what do you tell him this? And I'm like, because like most people aren't going to do it. They're not going to do it. It doesn't matter. People know what to do. They just don't do it. Like Alex Ramosi, I shared it the other day on my social media, was like, all these people talk all this stuff, but most of them wouldn't even wake up an hour earlier every day to go and become what they want to be. And like, that's the most true statement in the world. There is no competition in the world because there's very few psychopaths that could wake up every day and face these challenges and hurdles and maintain momentum.
Is that what I am?
Yeah,
All
you
right.
are. You gotta be a fanatic to work here. You gotta be a fanatic. If you're sitting here,
psychopath.
I changed the terminology, make me feel better about myself. If you want to work here, you got to be a fanatic. You have to be over the top. You can't make it. You will not succeed here if you don't have that ambition and just say, man, I love this so much, and I love what I do, and I love taking care of people, and I love every aspect. You can't do it. It will not translate well. It will not translate well. Mike came into the company, right? And sat down in a role as integrator, COO. He's an integrator. He's taking all this crazy vision and going, how do I integrate this into a scalable business model? And he sat down with several of you and was like talking through things and hurdles and challenges and everything that most businesses face, but we faced them all at one time. And he's like, "Why did you stay?" And he came into my office and was, and we've talked about this before. He came to my office and was like, I asked people, "Why did you stay?" And they're all like, "Because I love it. Like I just believe in this so much." And like it takes that level. And the people who don't make it. And chances are you can't even get in because the interview process is very thorough now. Um, and like it's tough. It'll be tough to get a seat at the table. And if you get a seat at the table, even if you pretended, you won't sit there long because we hold everybody to a very high standard. And it's just fun, man. Like it's super fun to see people and like we're not going to build everybody's barn.
Right.
We're not everybody's ideal builder. And everybody, you're not our ideal customer. Like, and I'm okay with that. It's perfectly fine. We know what we do well, and we're going to do that. And we're going to continue to do it. And so, like, the overwhelming majority of people just decide that we're not the builder for them. And so like their perspective means nothing to me because they don't even know who we are. They don't know the experience. They just know that like it didn't line up with what they were expecting. And so like I don't even give it any like a second thought. Like it's just funny to me. Like I don't care. I can't hear any of the noise. I don't hear any of the static. I don't none of it matters, but it's all received. It's all feedback. We're always bolstering and getting better and improving. And it happens at every level of the company. Like you guys are are proof of it. Like you guys own things that are not inside of your job responsibility.
Mm,
And you hold everybody to a high standard, right?
very
Mhm.
high
Yeah.
standard.
I mean, Olivia said it best. Like I'm just always like, we'll see. You
I
know?
mean, honestly, and it's not that I'm not welcoming because if you want to learn and you have questions, I will absolutely help you. You can knock on my door. Unless I'm on the phone, I will help you. But at the same time, like I want to be a part of the strongest sales team that we can possibly have. And if you're not going to contribute to that, like walk out the door. You know what I mean? Like I want to be a part of a team of winners, people who care about their clients, people who want to work hard, people who care about the company and, its perception. And if that's not you, like that's okay. There's a company out there that is for you, but this one ain't it.
Yep.
And so to me it is like I don't want to say like a gang, but it's a little bit like Fight Club, It's
Yeah.
like we can get you in here, but you gotta work to stay in here. And so it is more of like protecting what's important. And if you don't, from everybody's standpoint, if everybody doesn't kind of protect the core values and protect the energy within the offices and between each other, then it will go away and it'll just be another place to work. And it's never been that since I've started. Even when it was small and as it's grown, it's never been just another place to work.
Yeah. That means a lot. I love hearing that. I love it. I love it. Oh,
It,
go ahead.
it was. I was gonna say it was funny. I was out at the first site I was out at today. I got a call from a friend's kid who's looking to get out of the business he's in. He asked me. He goes, "Hey, you got any openings?" I said, "I'll find out." And I said, "There's a caveat to this, though." I was like, "I'm gonna tell you right now." I said, "You come here." I said, "You will work hard." I said, "You will also play hard." I said, "But I will tell you right now, if somehow whatever job you get into and you make it in, whether you try and fake it or not, I was like, we may be a little slow to hire." I said, "But if you don't fit in, it's not the bosses that'll kick you out." I said, "We'll kick you out in a heartbeat." I said, "We don't want any kind of poison in our water." I was like, "It just won't happen." I was like, yes, we are a business. We're going to try and make money. However, our people are about helping each other out to make the business that much better. It's everybody's piece in this business. Everybody's a part of it. We are what makes the Barndo Co. And then we happen to build houses while we're at it.
Yep. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like in this bigger than Barndo idea is it's way bigger than that. Like what we offer people is an opportunity to live the life they want and live the life that feels freeing to them. if you interview people that are coming in, most of them envision it's a type of dream slash freedom that they don't currently have.
Mm.
And we've embraced that. Like, it's not just a style of build, it is a complete different train of thought. And so you get people who are high energy people that are like very intent on what they want. They're very clear on what that looks like for them. And it's our job to figure out how in the world we can make it reality. And we're always playing the game back and forth. It's a give and take. There's sacrifices, there's rewards, there's so much of a tap dance that's happening because we can only control what we can control, right? We can't control your budget, we can't control your taste, but we can control the product you're getting. We can control what the cost of it is by allowing certain things in and out. And so it's up to them to dance with us. And so I think like through the way that we've set this thing up is like onboarding as much as you get, right? You're getting tons of value without a commitment. There's no commitment being made when you onboard with the Barndo Co.
Mm-mm.
You're taking a step on yourself, and we're going to help you lay a basis and a foundation for what's necessary for you to take this next step. And we're going to empower you with all the information and the tools necessary to go out and make the best decision for your family and your dream and your vision. But more than that, it's an interview process of can we work together, right? And we're trying to either A, vet that they are a team player that can come in, that they're bought in on the vision of what we're doing, that they understand the value of what we're doing, and that we're looking at this as way more than just a product or a service. We're looking at this as you are going to put trust in us to deliver something to you. I'm going to tell you exactly what you're getting. And we're going to be very clear on that on the beginning. And also, when you invest money with us, here's what we do with it. This is what our mission is. This is what our vision is. This is what our strategy is. This is our goal for fundraising in this community. This is what we want to see happen in this community. This is what we're about. And you're either with that or you're not. And if you're not, we're at a point now to where we'll just say, okay, it's not the best option for you, but I'm glad we figured that out now. And so, as much as onboarding is a tool for people that want to get started, but they don't know where to start, like you don't have to build with us to onboard. You don't have to. We don't even want you to have that in your mind. We want you to know that like we're giving you the tools and the necessary information to shop the market and find the builder and the process that's going to deliver what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making our case along the way of why we believe we are or are not that person for you. And it's literally the most transparent way you could ever conduct business. It's the most transparent thing in the world. And it's different. There's no doubt about it. It's different. Um and people get upset about the onboarding sometimes. They're very few. I'm talking like less than 1%. But again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying attention to all feedback. And they'll get upset. I just feels like that's just out of this it's a crazy. And for me, I go, thank God.
Mm.
Thank God. Because like if that is pushing you beyond your bounds, you're not an ideal client to come in and go through the process because you're not committed to your own dream. There's no way I could help you fulfill it.
I've even sat there and talked to a couple of good acquaintances, and I've sat there and now I'm like, coming on board with us, take a look, go through your specs and stuff like that. And they were like, oh, okay, it's free. I was like, no. I was like, it's gonna cost you money. And be like, I gotta go in money to look at this, and I'm like, yes, but by the time you walk out, you'll have everything you need to build your house, regardless if it's with us or not. I'm like, you're gonna have plans, you're gonna have this, you're gonna have all of this stuff. You can literally walk next door to the next person and say, can you build this? Can you do it for this much? And then you can shop around. I was like, you're not getting nothing for the money you're paying in. That's not what you're doing. Plus, on top of that, which is another reason why I love this company, on top of that, part of those proceeds in each area that we have our brick and mortars and stuff at goes to charity.
Yep. 100%. It
So
goes into that community.
you're not only giving money over here to get a product, you're giving money to go back into the own community that you live in.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had a call with a client or a potential client a couple days ago. And he's like, yeah, I'm interviewing you guys. And, I have calls with a couple of other people. And he was like, I'm surprised I didn't have to pay a fee for this call. He's like, I'm working with someone and they made me pay $100 for a call. And I was like, yeah. I was like, everybody operates a little differently. And he's like, I'm going to ask you a heavy question. And I was like, okay, go for it. And he's like, do you have any industry feedback on other builders? And, I was like, that's really, I was like, that I'm not going to speak negatively on any other builders. I was like, because there's a builder out there for everybody. And sometimes it's not us. I was like, but I do recommend that you research your builders. I was like, heavily ask them all the same questions you did me, ask them. I was like, read reviews, look at things online. Better Business Bureau. I was like, there's all kinds of things you can do to vet your own builder. I was like, I'm happy to chat with you anytime with no fee attached. But I was like, if you feel like that's your best fit, then that's your best fit. And it was just one of those situations where I don't get asked that question a lot about feedback on other builders, nor do I have any. I don't know enough about any other builders to be able to recommend or not recommend them. And I don't really feel like that's my place. As a homeowner, I want you to do your research and I want us to be a part of that. But if at the end of the day you don't feel like we're the best fit, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, some things are caught, not taught.
Hmm.
And you caught that.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. I don't make, like, man, there's so many people that would love anything in the world to talk as much junk as they can about the next person because they're in a scarcity mindset that it's us versus them, and I got to throw them under the bus so I can convince these people to sign with me. And if that's how you build your business, man, go for it. That ain't what we're about. I'm here for people's dreams to be real.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I
Yeah.
tell you, but going off of that, I love the fact that we do say no because we didn't used to it at the beginning, and
Mhm.
we have dealt with some of those. I have dealt with some of those customers multiple occasions for great lengths, and the fact that we will say no at the beginning, seeing those red marks go.
It's a core
No,
value
no,
alignment.
no, yeah.
And so here's where a lot of that comes from is we established a set of core values. And I've had to fire people that I love because of a core value misalignment. I've had to not hire people that I thought were the perfect candidate because of a misalignment of core values. And we've done that consistently for 3 years and seen what we have internally with core value alignment. And so then we looked at like negative situations that happen, right? And let's just be honest. You're in the building world and you think it's all gonna be all puppy tails and rainbows and unicorns and everything's gonna be amazing. You're not buying a new car, right? You're not coming down to the lot. We're not gonna run it back, fill it up with gas, wash it, put a big red bow on top, and then
Well, we will wash it.
make you feel great, and then send you away with an 8.99% APR, right? And then 60 days later is when you get remorse for buying that vehicle because the payment's due. We don't operate that way. We're building a home, and there's a job site before there's a home, and there's a lot of paperwork before there's a job site, and there's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a lot of money exchanged. There's a lot of high emotions. There's a lot of uncomfort. There's a lot of things that are sacrificed to get to that point. But in every single situation that there's ever been, we look at it and I remove all the circumstance and say, is this person aligned from a core values perspective? No. Well, why are we even here? And there's a piece of time where you're like, we were talking about it earlier. You got to move. You got to make something happen. You got to go to get there. And the cool thing is because we move so fast, we got there a lot sooner to look at it and say, I don't want to just have core value alignment inside of my company. I want to have it outside as well. We attract a certain type of person. We're not attracting the pessimistic, the person who wants to shop 9 million people. That's why I can freely say you're not committed till you sign a contract. The people that come in, the people that know our company and done the research on our company will tell you there's no one else to build my house. I want to be a part of this. There's a core value alignment, and that's the customers we're chasing. That's why I can confidently say we don't have competition because there's no one out there with the same core value alignment that like, again, it's bigger than a Barndo. So yes, we can say no. And we didn't always. And we dealt with the repercussions of it. Just like if we were to have hired a bunch of people who didn't fit, we had to have uncomfortable confrontation there to terminate that situation. Well, we're doing it with clients too. And so we just got to a point to where we said, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it because we're not here just to sell you a product. We're here to help you build a dream, and we got to be a team, and we got to be players, and we got to be bought in. And it's so cool because when we made that decision, and it was, probably 12, 18 months ago that really became a thing. Um, and I'll say this, we had $18 million of contracts that we did not ratify when we decided to do that. And there's people that own businesses listen to that and go, you're absolutely a lunatic. More than what our revenue was in that year, we told no.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like financial suicide. And so it's funny to me when people are like, they're just about the money, man. No, we're not. We're way not about the money. We are 100% about core value alignment and making sure that we're doing business with people who have the same thing, that foster the same ideals, that have the same mentality and have the same respect and dignity and the same mission on that job site as we do. And that's why I just say, hey, it's bigger than Barndo.
Even our subs want to build our homes for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, no, you get the other big ticket, community builders. Even our subs work in those communities, is sitting there building those track homes and everything else like that, but they want to build our home.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's just a difference. And so like, I don't care about growth for the sake of growth or company growth. I care about growth because growth means we've impacted more people. Growth means we've reached more opportunities to help people. And that's what we do. That's why we do it. 100% that's why we do it. That's why you're in sales.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't mind saying no. I don't mind that you choose someone else. That's not someone that is in a commission structure environment. That's not normally the case.
Well, it's just I don't wanna have to fight you every step of the way. I wanna be your partner and not actually, but I want to hold your hand through the process, and I can't do that if you're gonna fight me every step of the way. I wanna help you through design. I wanna help you at your spec meeting with choosing your selections and making the best options aesthetically. I wanna get you through proposal, and I want you to sign that contract at the end of the day, but if you feel like we're not a good fit, or if you feel like this is just going to be a terrible situation, or like I said, if you're going to fight us every step of the way and you're going to find something to be negative about every step of the way, then you're probably not the best fit. Maybe there's another builder out there that operates in a similar way that can be better assisting to you. But from a sales side, there does come a point in time where I gotta hand it off to these guys, and if they're not having a good process on my end, they're definitely not gonna have a good process going over to this end where it's a different type of stress. The stress on the front end is, can we get what we want layout-wise with the selections that we want in the budget that we want? That's one demon to kinda get, but then when you pass it over to construction, they have to make this thing real life, on site with materials, and if they already are having a bad experience here, they're likely going to have a bad experience there where the stress is, "I went on the job site today and, this didn't look right," and, now they're blowing up Darik's phone and they're panicking, and when the reality of the situation is Darik wants to build you, and all the project managers want to build you the absolute best Barndo that we can produce. They want it to be perfect and beautiful and for you to love it. And if you just are negative when you're initially assisting a situation or going into a situation, they have every intention to fix it. I have every intention to fix it for you, but I don't want you to approach it as, "Oh, you don't wanna do this, so let me just go ahead and berate them for this." Just tell me what's wrong. I promise I wanna help you, they wanna help you, we want to help you. We don't wanna fight against you. And I've definitely had situations with people we didn't build for who, I had one specific couple reach out to me on Facebook probably a few months ago, and they decided not to build with us. We had spent a lot of time with them, but they decided not to, and they were not a client fit. And they were like, "Hey, like here's the process or the progress on our Barndo that we built with someone else." I was like, "That's amazing. Congratulations." Like, I don't want you to be miserable. I don't want you to not build your barn dough. I want you to be in a partnership with us because we want it just as much as you do. And so It definitely is a client
Yeah,
fit.
but not only that, you want them to have what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why like if that message came to you and it was anything other, it would have bothered you. But it didn't. Because you're like, good.
Yeah, congratulations. Like, you got the build you wanted. You got the things that you wanted. We weren't able to do that for you. We didn't fit. We didn't match up. We weren't the puzzle pieces that went together. But you found someone who was a puzzle piece fit for you as a builder. And now you're close to moving into your dream barndo. Congratulations. Like, there's nothing else for me to say. Like, good for you. You built your dream home. And if it was me on the other end of that situation, I wouldn't want anything different from somebody that I had, previously considered building with in the past.
Right.
So it's also from, I plan to build a barn door one day. From my end of things, just as strictly a homeowner or strictly a client, like I want the same level of service that I would provide to a client as well. And so when you look at it that way, from a sales side, you want them to be happy, and not everything is going to be happy, but at the end of the day, you want them to look back on the experience and, as they're sitting in their finished barn door and they love it. They're happy. They're so glad they did this. They're finally in their forever home. And I see clients that I follow on social media, and one in particular just posted a picture and they got their Christmas tree up in their barn door, and it's huge because they got a vaulted ceiling and they got the fireplace going. And I was like, how freaking nice is that? Like, that's something I aspired to one day. And I was like,
Yep.
that's so freaking cool that that client did it. They're living their dream.
Yep.
And that's cool.
That is cool.
Yep.
The two clients that one I just got a CO on yesterday, and the other one we're literally waiting on one last thing. And once that thing gets in, the house is going to CO. Neither one of them thought they would be in before Christmas, much less Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're not going to have Thanksgiving dinner in this house. You don't have enough time to move in. However, you're good for Christmas now.
Yeah.
So go on Black Friday and fill this house up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Well, this is the time of year where it gets really crazy anyway, when you start talking about the week prior to Thanksgiving through the end of the year. It's 7 weeks of hell week, baby.
Yeah.
And people's expectations coupled with the stress of their environment, and it creates an awful lot of tension, and it's super fun. And
then
like
the weather
I
doesn't help.
was joking with Nick the other day. I was like, you need to like print a festive document that we mail everyone and say like, hey, the holidays are coming. You're not going to be in your home. Because there's something about that time of year, man, that just collapses all the pressure, because they start seeing those photos as well of their friends and their family putting up their Christmas tree and stuff. And they're like, we're in a freaking
Trailer.
a trailer or a
Mhm.
camper out on the
Mhm.
back of the property, and or they're in some rental and they're trying to make it work. And it's just, like, I get it. I laugh about it because it's like it's gonna happen. Some of the best clients you get this time of year, brother, like that last run, the last 6 weeks of the year, and they are like, I will burn your company to the ground. And we're like, you are 4 months away from moving in. There's nothing we can do to make it happen in the next 3 weeks.
Hey, framing's up. You're going to be in by Christmas?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I watched a YouTube video. These other guys, they built it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's his name? He moved that bus, man. They weren't even there 24 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Ty Pennington.
Oh, God. I remember watching that show.
We need to get
back
that
in
dude
the
on
day.
speed dial.
You ain't
Be
lying.
Listen, man, we know Ty, and if you got the money, he'd come out here and make this thing happen for you. But,
Yep.
but the reality is, man, like, having a core value alignment changes the game, and we see it more and more and more. And so, as much as we say like everything's got better and the experiences are better and everything like that, part of that is it's almost an exclusive. Like you have the only way you're gonna get in and get one is if you select us, but we also select you.
Mm.
And I don't say that to be like some kind of holier than thou. It's just a reality.
Yeah.
Because we know what we're capable of, and we know that the home is going to be perfect and beautiful, and like it's going to be what it's supposed to be.
And that's the thing. If you're not a fit and you're complaining, like she was saying, if you're complaining the whole time and you're calling me and you're blowing me up and stuff like that, I'm gonna build you a house. You paying for it, I'm gonna build you a house. But that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
is I'm going to build that house. I'm going to make sure it's done right, make sure it's done to the specifications, but that's what you're going to get.
Well, it handcuffs you.
Yeah, and then when you get all these other ones that are fit in perfect, are very patient, and they're like, hey, we just want to know about this, or hey, we noticed this the other day, and we're just curious about it, and I'll sit there and be like, oh, yeah, no, you're good, don't worry, no worries, I might handle it, and they leave it alone. There's that little extra special that you're like, God, these were so great. Let's put this in here for them. Let's do this here. Let's do that there.
I'm gonna tell Nick not to listen to this episode.
But it's just that little extra.
I don't think
extra
I
care.
don't think it's 100% true. What I think it is if someone comes into the relationship as not a partner, but a director, you don't have the ability to have conversations. You're always on the defense. And so when your phone rings, there's never an opportunity for you to call with good news. There's never an opportunity for you to call with solution because you're always having to deal with a problem that might not even really be a problem. And so
9 times out of 10, it isn't. It's just like the house isn't finished yet.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I'm not trying to be crude or rude to any customer out there or anything else like that. But during that stage of construction, it's not finished yet.
Yeah.
It'll get there. We promise you it'll get there.
Your voicemail say, "Hi, you've reached Darik. If your home isn't finished, then hang up now. If your home has been completed and you're living there, leave a message after the beep."
I'm gonna have my wife watch this episode, and she'll sit there and be like, "You're gonna do that right now."
Yep.
You are gonna do that right now. In fact, you're gonna have a text message that sits there and says, not I'll call you back. Like,
Hi,
if your house isn't burning down.
You've reached an automated text line. Like, if your home is still under construction, press 1. There's not a problem.
There's not a problem.
But
oh no,
it's a process, man. And we've done a better job of educating them. But like, again, I love getting to hang out with you guys, man. You guys have been staples in the organization and like really made us what we are. And I love getting a chance for people to like peer into that and like see that. You know what I mean? Like it's you guys. It is you guys that take the level of care, consideration, everything to the next level. It's you guys that make us, like, at the beginning of the year, the mission was to be better
than ever.
And it happened because of people like you. So,
and that's the other thing. You sit there to all these people and be like, we've been through the trenches and we still got a smile.
But I can't end the episode without this thing. You mentioned Alaska, and
oh boy,
we were talking about the witness protection. So I've been giving Darik a hard time about this for so long, and he mentioned it before the show, and he was like, I shouldn't have said nothing. But Darik is a completely different human being, and I'm going to make Jenna post a picture of your previous identity.
Insert that now, Jenna.
This is what I got now.
Yeah, and so anyway, we're glad that whatever happened in your former life happened and that you were safely relocated to the state of South Carolina and implanted into the barndominium company. But no, for real, like you guys make this place awesome and you champion the vision. You've made this thing possible. And like, for me, it's just cool because this is the meat and potatoes behind everything that happens in the organization. If you want to get involved and you want to have an experience and explore what it looks like, talking to an Olivia is the greatest thing you could do. Because she's talked to so many people, at least 3 or 4. At least 3
or 4 because I've built 3 or 4 of her homes.
So, like, but no joke, you've talked to probably tens of thousands of people in your tenure here, and you've explored every kind of possible outcome, and you're so well seasoned in what can and cannot be, and there's no filler in that. Like, you're going to be absolutely honest with people about what is possible, what's not possible, and navigate through that. And the thing about it is this: we can't control your budget or your taste, but if you can make one of those yield to the other, then we can service you, because we can build to any budget for the most part. You know, we can build to almost any budget, but you have to be willing to become a partner and play to the game of how do we get you what you want with what you have to spend. And that is a great place to start. And then as that carries over into the production side, you got guys like Darik, and Darik's one of several that really embrace the culture of who we are. And they're you've heard him say it 1,500 times. He wants to do a good job. He wants to build you the home you've always dreamed of. He wants to do special things for you. He wants it to be an experience more than just a purchase. And that's true for the whole team. Everybody will go above and beyond to move every obstacle and do everything they can to make it the best experience possible. And that's what we promise you. The thing is this: we subscribe to a certain way of life, and we want our clients to be there as well. And if you have a poor experience, we're going to fix it. Unless the poor experience was based on the fact that you were not in alignment with us, there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we can do about it. We live in a world where people will go on Facebook and complain about their McDonald's order. How much more so would you be willing to complain about a $500,000 purchase? So there's no skin off our backs, man. We're an open book. We love it. Like, we will dialogue with you. You can ask as many questions you want. Nothing about this is saying that we know everything and that we're infallible. No, we are willing to own what we do wrong.
I know very little.
But we expect you to be able to own it when you're wrong too. And like, it's got to be that kind of way. It's got to be a commitment to excellence from both parties to get to the end and get there fast. And man, again, I wish I could have cracked a cold beer and had this with you, loosened up a little bit, but y'all got me caffeined up over here.
Well, about 6 months, we'll do another one.
So anyway, thanks for dropping in with us, hanging out for a little Beer and Barndo episode with two of the GOATs, two of the longtime legends of the industry. And you see their faces. They're all over social media. They're there. They're engaging with stuff all the time. Like, these are the people you should be asking questions to, because they want to help you, and they have the ability to deliver exactly what you're looking for. So anyway, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank
you.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options, or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.